The internet froze the moment Meghan Markle's latest video went live. There she was, reclining in the back seat of a sleek black limousine gliding through the glowing streets of Paris. Her laughter was effortless, her posture relaxed, basking in pure luxury. The camera captured every sparkle, her radiant smile, the calm confidence of a woman living her best. Life as the city of light shimmered around her. To most people, it looked like just another glamorous glimpse into the life of a duchess turned Hollywood icon. But then, someone noticed the geotag, and that changed everything. The limousine was cruising less than a mile from the Pont de l'Alma tunnel, the very place where Princess Diana took her final breath. The same tunnel where Prince Harry's mother died in that horrific crash, chased by paparazzi. For Harry, that's sacred ground, a place that's haunted him for nearly 30 years. And yet, Meghan had just posted a video of herself, carefree and glowing in that same neighborhood, as if the weight of that painful history didn't exist. The backlash was instant and brutal. Social media exploded within minutes. Royal watchers, longtime supporters, even her most loyal defenders, all were stunned. The comments turned into a battlefield of outrage. How could she be so unaware? Did she not understand what that place represented? How could the woman who constantly compared herself to Princess Diana show such breathtaking insensitivity toward the very place where Diana's story ended? But the online storm was nothing compared to what insiders say happened behind palace gates and then later behind the closed doors of their Montecito home. According to sources close to the couple, the moment Harry saw that video, he completely broke down. His face went pale. His hands reportedly trembled as he watched the woman he loved smiling in the same district where his mother's life was taken. Those Paris streets, once echoing with flashing cameras, chasing Diana to her death, had now become the glamorous backdrop for Meghan's content, and she had shared it with the world. Witnesses say Harry demanded an explanation. How could this happen? How could Meghan, of all people, not grasp the emotional gravity of that location? She knew his story, his nightmares, the sound of cameras, the haunting image of his mother fading away. Yet there she was, laughing, glowing, living her best life, just blocks from the place of his deepest wound, royal. Insiders describe what followed not as a simple argument, but as a full-blown explosion. The kind of confrontation that shakes the core of a marriage. Years of tension and unspoken pain reportedly spilled out all at once. What made it worse, they say, was Meghan's reaction. Instead of showing remorse, instead of acknowledging the pain she had reopened, she allegedly defended posting the video. Behind the walls of their Montecito mansion, voices were raised, emotions ran wild. One insider said it felt like World War III. Harry wasn't the calm, composed prince anymore. He was a broken son, a man pushed to his limit. People close to the couple whisper. His voice echoed through the halls as he demanded answers. How could you think this was okay? Did you even stop to consider my feelings? Did that place mean nothing to you? And the question he kept repeating, the one that broke everyone's heart. How could the woman, I gave up everything for be so blind to the place where my mother died? Insiders say Harry tried desperately to make Meghan understand the real issue. It wasn't about policing her social media or taking away her freedom. It was about respect. He wanted her to realize that some places carry too much pain and history to be turned into glamorous backgrounds for lifestyle. Videos, the tunnel where his mother lost her life wasn't just another spot in Paris. It was hallowed ground, yet Meghan had treated it like a random photo. Stop, according to those close to the couple. She didn't seem to understand his pain. Reports suggest Meghan turned the argument around, accusing Harry of still being controlled by the royal family and British media. Even from thousands of miles away, she allegedly told him he was still trapped in their story, still letting them decide what she could and couldn't do. Those words, insiders say, cut Harry deeper than anything before. The argument reportedly dragged on for hours, staff nearby claimed. They heard doors slam, voices rise and fall, followed by tense silence, and more shouting. By the time the sun disappeared over California, the damage was done. Harry had supposedly moved to the guest house, refusing to sleep beside Meghan that night. For the first time since their marriage began, sources whisper, Harry questioned if the woman he had sacrificed everything for truly understood him at all. To grasp why that Paris video hit so hard, you need to understand what that tunnel means to Harry. The Pont de l'Alma tunnel isn't just another landmark. It's where his entire world collapsed. It's the place where he lost the only person who made him feel safe and loved. At just 12 years old, Harry learned that his mother had died in a Paris car crash. 12 years old when he had to walk behind her coffin as millions watched, cameras flashing in his tear-streaked face. The most haunting part, the one that never leaves his mind, is that she died running from the paparazzi. The same photographers who tormented her were there when she took her last breath. Those who know Harry say he still carries deep guilt from that night. He's spoken about the nightmares, the anger, and the fear that history might repeat itself, this time with Meghan. Years later, Harry walked through that same tunnel himself, trying to make sense of it all, to imagine his mother's final moments. That experience nearly broke him. And then there's the part that makes it all even harder, the paparazzi. Harry has spent his entire adult life fighting against the press, the same relentless photographers who played a role in Diana's death. He's taken them to court, given tearful testimony, and spoken openly about his deepest fear, that the past might repeat itself with Meghan. Time and again, he's drawn parallels between his mother's tragedy and their own lives, warning how dangerous obsessive media attention can be. So when Meghan shared that Paris video, allegedly chasing the same spotlight, in the very city where Diana died, insiders say Harry felt completely betrayed. He had spent years shielding Meghan from the same fate that destroyed his mother, only to watch her seek that same attention in the one place that should have remained sacred forever. Royal experts call it a cruel twist of fate. Meghan has built much of her public image around Diana's memory, wearing her jewelry, visiting her favorite charities, even sitting for interviews in the same spot where Diana gave her most famous confession. She's embraced those comparisons, allowed herself to be seen as Diana's modern echo. Yet, critics argue, she showed no sensitivity at all toward the place where Diana's life ended. That video wasn't filmed on just any Paris street. It was less than a mile from the tunnel, the same area where paparazzi once swarmed Diana's car, where Harry's deepest trauma began. And now Meghan had allegedly turned that painful ground into content, a glamorous backdrop for her lifestyle brand. For Harry, those close to him say it wasn't simply careless, it was unforgivable. This Paris video scandal didn't come out of nowhere. Royal watchers have long accused Meghan of carefully weaving Diana's memory into her public image. And now, this latest controversy has dragged all those old debates back into the spotlight. Critics say Meghan has often invoked Diana's legacy when it suits her brand, but rarely shows the same sensitivity toward the pain and heartbreak tied to that legacy. Remember that iconic interview, the one that sent shockwaves through the royal family? Meghan wore Diana's bracelet that day. For supporters, it was a symbolic gesture, a reminder that Meghan saw herself walking a similar path to Harry's late mother. But to critics, it was something colder, a calculated visual, using Diana's memory as emotional armor, a prop to strengthen her own story. Then there's the Archewell Foundation. On paper, it honored many of Diana's causes, from landmine awareness to AIDS, research and homelessness. It looked like a heartfelt tribute. But whispers from inside the charity world tell a different story, that Meghan's involvement often felt more about the cameras than the cause, more about image than impact. Unlike Diana, who spent decades quietly doing the hard, unseen work, Meghan, they say, wanted the spotlight without the struggle. And the media comparisons? They never seemed to bother her. Every time a headline called her the new Diana, her team stayed silent. Or, as some PR insiders suggest, quietly fueled the narrative. The storyline of Meghan as the modern Diana, the misunderstood outsider, the rebel royal, and became central to her public identity. But the Paris video ripped the mask away. Royal commentators now claim it, exposed the truth critics have been warning about for years, that Meghan loved the glamour of Diana's legacy, not the gravity of it. She wanted the admiration, the jewelry, the sympathy, but not the responsibility or respect that came with Diana's painful story. As one insider put it, she wanted the crown, but not the cost. And this time, even her most loyal defenders are finding it hard to stand by her side. Even Meghan's most loyal supporters are struggling to defend her this time. Social media pages that once championed the Sussexes have fallen silent. Royal commentators who usually rush to give her the benefit of the doubt are calling this moment indefensible, and whispers from Hollywood suggest that even her closest celebrity friends are quietly questioning her judgment. The internet's verdict has been summed up in one brutal sentence. If you're going to brand yourself as Diana 2.0, then at least show respect for where Diana's story ended. Because you can't have it both ways. You can't use Diana's legacy to fuel your image and then ignore it when it doesn't fit your aesthetic. Behind the scenes, sources say the Paris video wasn't some random upload. It was part of a much bigger plan that spectacularly backfired. Insiders reveal Meghan had been working on a major rebrand, shifting from royal rebel to high-end lifestyle icon. Paris was supposed to symbolize elegance, power, and reinvention. She wanted to be seen as a global influencer, the face of luxury, class, and effortless glamour. Her team had allegedly mapped everything out: exclusive restaurants, designer boutiques, front-row fashion moments. The goal? To leave behind the bitter ex-royal image and step into a new one. A woman brands would trust, admire, and collaborate with. Someone who could sell dreams of sophistication to millions. But then came the emotional storm. Reports claim that Harry tried to stop her. He warned her about going to Paris, begged her even. He told her the city held too many ghosts, too many memories he'd never escaped. That watching her glam up those same streets would feel like reliving his worst nightmare. But according to insiders, Meghan brushed off his concerns. She reportedly told him it was time to move forward, that she couldn't put her career on pause because of his past. Paris, she said, was essential. It wasn't just a city, it was the heartbeat of fashion, the center of luxury, the perfect stage for her new image. And skipping it? That would be a mistake she wasn't willing to make. Those close to her claim she truly believed the public would adore it, that people wanted to see her shining, unbothered, living her best life beyond royal drama. But instead of admiration, she found outrage. And what was meant to be her big comeback became one of the most disastrous PR moments of her career. Meghan's team thought they had crafted perfection: a sleek European look, luxury lighting, and Parisian glamour, all tailor-made for social media. They believed it would explode online, the kind of content that attracts millions of views and brand deals worth fortunes. But what no one on her team seemed to realize was where exactly they were filming. PR analysts dissecting the fallout now say it's unbelievable that no one double-checked the location data. A single glance at a map could have revealed the truth. That the limousine was gliding just steps away from the tunnel where Princess Diana lost her life. Someone should have seen the danger. Someone should have warned her. Instead, insiders whisper that the team was so fixated on capturing that flawless luxury lifestyle shot that they completely ignored the emotional gravity of the place. And now, Harry was left to face the consequences. The emotional cost of what some insiders are calling Meghan's most catastrophic miscalculation yet. The internet has seen its fair share of Meghan controversies, but nothing compared to this. Within hours of posting, her comment section turned into a digital battleground. Thousands expressing shock, outrage, and disbelief. This time, even her longtime defenders were silent. Royal analysts who once stood by her were suddenly out of excuses. Kinsey Schofield, one of the most respected royal commentators, voiced what everyone was already thinking. How could the woman who calls herself Diana 2.0 not realize the significance of that place? That question hit hard, because it exposed what many believe to be Meghan's biggest contradiction. She embraces Diana's image when it helps her narrative, but seemed completely indifferent to the reality of Diana's death. Across social media, one heartbreaking observation kept repeating: she was just 1 mile away from where Princess Diana took her last breath. 1 mile, not an accident, not a coincidence. A choice. Even Meghan's closest celebrity allies fell silent. The Hollywood friends who once rushed to defend her vanished from the conversation. Behind closed doors, insiders say several A-listers who had proudly aligned themselves with the Sussexes were privately stunned. Text messages began flying between star circles, all asking the same question. What was she thinking? But no one dared to say it publicly. The British tabloids, of course, went wild, but this time even American outlets struggled to defend her. Articles appeared with headlines like, "When does invoking Diana's legacy cross a line?" and "The Paris video Meghan Markle should never have posted." Major networks called in royal experts, and almost every one of them agreed. This was indefensible. Royal historian Dr. Tessa Dunlop put it bluntly. If Meghan hadn't spent years branding herself as the next Diana, this might have been forgivable. But when you constantly claim to be Diana 2.0, sensitivity isn't optional. That was the point Meghan never seemed to grasp. You can't build an empire around Diana's memory and then show no awareness of the very place where her life ended. The public saw right through it, and what made it worse? This outrage wasn't just stirred by haters or tabloids. It came from ordinary people, former supporters, neutral observers, people who once admired her, all now agreeing on one thing. Meghan had finally crossed the line. But the real damage wasn't just public. Insiders whispered that this scandal ripped open cracks in Harry and Meghan's marriage, cracks that had been forming for years. This wasn't just another argument destined to fade. This was a collision of values, a question of whether they still understood each other at all. Sources close to the couple say Harry moved into the guest house and stayed there for days. Staff reported silence, except for the sound of footsteps pacing through the night. He wasn't just reeling from the video. He was shattered by what it revealed about their relationship. She knew his deepest trauma. She'd heard his pain, felt his fear, and still allegedly chose her content strategy over his peace of mind. And that's what insiders say makes this crisis unlike any other. Because this time, it didn't just expose a PR problem, it exposed the truth about them. Harry, insiders say, now feels like a man who gave up everything for love. His family, his country, his military titles, even his bond with William. He walked away from the only world he'd ever known. Because Meghan said she couldn't survive in it. But now, sources whisper he's wondering, what did he really get in return? People close to the couple say Harry has quietly started questioning Meghan's motives. The Netflix deals, the podcasts, the endless media appearances, all the things she once said she hated about royal life, she now seems to embrace more than ever. It's dawning on him that maybe she never truly wanted privacy. Maybe what she wanted all along was control, fame and attention, but on her own terms. And the Paris video? That, insiders claim, was the moment everything became painfully clear. Harry allegedly told friends, if she truly understood me, if she truly loved me, she'd have known that some places are sacred. Some memories should never be turned into content. The fact that Meghan didn't see it until the internet exploded was to him the loudest message of all. Meanwhile, Meghan reportedly feels cornered and misunderstood. She believes Harry is letting public opinion dictate his emotions, that he's giving power to the haters instead of standing by her. She thinks he's being weak, letting old ghosts control their future. And that difference, that emotional divide, is creating a rift that insiders say might be impossible to fix. Friends whisper the couple now barely speak. And when they do, it's distant, cold, stripped of the warmth they once radiated. Behind palace walls, the royal family watches in silence. Not with triumph, but with a grim sense of inevitable vindication. Because according to insiders, they always believed this moment would come, that Meghan never truly understood what it meant to carry Diana's legacy. And now, they think the world has seen it too. Word from royal insiders is that Prince William was furious when he saw the Paris video. According to palace sources, his voice was trembling with anger as he called his closest advisors, asking if they'd seen what Meghan had just done. For William, who carries the same wound as Harry, losing their mother in that very tunnel, this wasn't just poor judgment. It felt like a personal attack on his brother and on Diana's memory itself. Sources say he told confidants this was proof of everything he'd warned about for years, that Meghan was exploiting the family's pain for her own image. Princess Catherine, though usually calm and diplomatic, was said to be just as shaken. For years, she'd tried to give Meghan the benefit of the doubt, believing the media had maybe gone too far in its criticism. But after this, that last thread of sympathy was gone. Insiders claim she told William, "No amount of training or cultural difference can excuse something this cruel." Even King Charles' palace sources reveal was deeply unsettled.